Hey, Twin Cities, happy Saturday. You are watching Natalie, and I'm back. I'm bringing the heat this week. I'm sitting down with some amazing people. We're going to be talking about home ownership, and I have got just the guy that is going to show you, help you, actually walk you through a process on how a home can be yours. You know, like he says, you got to live somewhere anyway, so you might as well live in something that is yours. Also today, I'm so blessed. My baby sissy's pulling up. She is a film director. She is a creative director on the sets of many locations with so many wonderful people. She is working on so many projects, from Black Girls Films to Ancestral Healing. We're going to get a sneak peek at that as well. Our guests are coming to really just inspire and motivate you today. But first, I have got to tell you why I am sounding like I swallowed a frog. This weekend that passed, I was in Houston, Texas, the stormy Wellington. Okay, and I got to sit up straight, even, when I say that, because Stormy is one of the most successful women in the world. She's a part of that 1%. She deposits $100,000 in her bank account every day. Goals. Can anybody say goals? Okay. And she is making $1 million a month. So yes, I'm inspired levels. We all have the power and the potential to do whatever we see in our vision if we give the glory to God. And I had an opportunity to spend the weekend with her at The Awakening. This was a 3-day event. And I have a sneak peek for you about my experience last week. Take a look.
What's going on, family? Your girl Stitch is here, and we are all the way in Texas with the fabulous, the beautiful. Can I just tell you truth? And this is no games. This is not me trying to be like, oh yeah. Congratulations and sincerely. Oh my gosh, I just really want to hug you. That's really what I want to do. We are here, The Awakening. Stormy, the founder, the CEO, the mogul, the brand person, like everything that you are doing, we are happy. Tell everybody how you feel first and foremost.
You know what? I feel proud. I feel like, all the things that I spoke about are manifesting in a miraculous way. All my prayers, all my meditations, all the prayers of my ancestors, my mother, may she rest in power. To everyone that has come before me that made an impartation into just humanity. I'm just grateful to be a Black woman. I'm grateful to be a freedom fighter. I'm grateful to be an example that how you start is not how you have to finish. And I'm just so proud of all the women that trust me, that allow me to do what God called me to do. And I'm just ready for my next. I know that this is just the beginning. We need more awakenings. We need more men and women, not just women. We need more men and women in environments like this. I wish my brothers would have been able to come to an awakening when they were 20. I wish I had an awakening when I was 20. I pray that more people understand the awakening and show up, because I know that when we're better to ourselves, we can make this world a better place.
And you invested more than $1 million into this event. One thing that you want to make sure that, whether man or woman, those who attend in this, what do you want them to take away? One thing.
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here at The Awakening. There's still more time. She stopped so she can talk to us. She's hungry. I'm not going to be the person that holds you from your food. I'm going to hug you and say congratulations.
You going to come eat with us now?
I'm going to come eat. Tell them one more time where we are and tell them who you are.
We are here at The Awakening. Thank you to the Connect Network for being here. I'm excited. It's time for all of us to be awakened.
Who you are?
Coach Stormy. I'm Coach Stormy, and I'm the visionary, the leader,
Hello.
the actor, the producer, the everything, and I'm grateful. Let's go.
Come on, Storm.
Beautiful people, it's Major Mr. This is why I love you. And you are watching the Connect Network TV.
Want to be a legit party planner but don't know how? Partypreneurs 101 is for you. A 10-week online course unlike any other. Get paid to do what you love and be your own boss. Learn more at thepartypreneurschool.com.
Welcome back, Twin Cities, right here on the CW. Yes, I've been having all the fun, so I'm happy you're bearing with me today. So coming up next, we have a filmmaker, creative director of many projects from Black Girls Film to Ancestral Healing. You're going to get another sneak peek at that today. We're going to talk about both of them, but before we get into that, I want to kick off her most recent project. Oh, have you heard of Afro Punk? Have you heard of Afro Punk? We're going to get into that. Please welcome to the show my baby sissy, Cherrelle to the Rel. Hey, Cherrelle.
Hello, it's great to be on, Natalie.
This is my real sister. This is not some made for TV stuff, okay? So we both are HU grads. I'm 5 years older than her. She inspires me every day. She puts me onto the Instagram, the TikToks, all these young folks. Let's talk first about that experience. What was it like, especially for people that have never been to this event in Atlanta?
This weekend, Afro Punk. It was amazing. We were there covering Ebony Davis, who is a central character for the project that we're currently in production on, called Black Girls Film. It's a 90-minute feature-length documentary highlighting the inner divinity and spiritual light of Black girls in America and across the world. Yeah. And really, we're following Black girls through the lens of Ebony, who is a top fashion model, activist, writer, and host extraordinaire.
Who else was a part of the production that you guys were working on?
Well, the Afro Punk had a really large stage. They had a 2-day festival. Actually got the chance to ask folks, like, what does it mean to be able to have a space like this? And so many said, I feel affirmed in my Blackness, right? I feel like I can show up here as myself.
I love this. You're so creative. You're working on a lot of projects. You work with a lot of big brands, companies, and you help bring the creative visuals together. And for your film, Black Girls, we're going to show a clip of that as well. You traveled all across the country. You guys made so much magic sharing the different people that represent Black girls across the world. So what do you want people to know about that film, and when can we expect to take a look?
Absolutely. Well, more to come. And I think what we want people to walk away with is a sense of community, a sense of purpose, and to know that when Black women support one another, the world changes. What's coming up next? We'll be in Seattle, we'll be in Los Angeles, we'll be in Chicago, finishing up production. It's been an amazing experience so far, and we're excited to be able to write the rest of the story, or allow the story to write itself.
So, I want to get on this next project you're working on. You're calling it Ancestral Healing. I love this. We are from the Twin Cities. We both, of course, I mentioned it before, HU, Relly. So I love that you have invested in and taken the time. You and our little brother JJ, who's so amazing. He did all of the videography for a clip that we're going to show you here in a bit. Talk about this project you're working on today that you call Ancestral Healing.
Intimate project. It's an independent project. As you mentioned, my brother and I are really spearheading the storytelling around it. And with that, we went to Birmingham, Alabama, the place before our ancestors actually arrived to St. Paul, Minnesota. And in that, we're learning so much. And then, of course, the story continues into the Rondo community. And I'm just extremely astounded and inspired to tell the story of my great-grandmother. Who is a beacon of light and someone who's been written into history. And I just think about how hard she had to work, and similar to with the Black Girls film, how Black women aren't written into history. And so as a documentarian and as a filmmaker, I take that responsibility seriously. And so if not us, then who? And if not now, then when? I think it's a great time to tell this story. And through it, we hope to inspire others to heal through connecting with the stories of their ancestors, because they were so courageous and because they sacrificed so much for us to be able to be right here today. And so that will be a 3-part series, and we're excited to have the debut of that trailer and the updates of that project appear right here on Natalie.
Oh, really, Rel. Well, it's such a pleasure and an honor that you always are just standing up and working towards something of substance, something bigger than you. It's always about more than you. And from what I have read and what I know from success, the only way you get it is if you recognize that it's all bigger than you. So I want to thank you for what you're doing. It's beautiful, it's encouraging, it's inspiring. She's a business major. She doesn't have a degree in film, but she made her own company, made her own way. Relly, where can people reach you and keep up and connect?
Please follow me on IG. My IG is at the Cherrelle Show. Cherrelle spelled just like you see written right there. And also follow our film and the journey into finishing this beautiful 90-minute feature-length documentary at Black Girls Film.
All right, y'all, check it out. Here's a look at Ancestral Healing by filmmaker Cherrelle Swain and our baby bro, JJ.
When people ask me where I'm from, and I tell them Minnesota, they usually respond, I didn't know there were black people in Minnesota. The other go-to response, you're the first black person I've met from Minnesota. It's 2021. Don't people know black people are everywhere? But how did black people get to Minnesota? From a young age, I remember hearing stories about my great-grandmother, as if her life were a fable. As I became older, I started to notice that much of my ancestors' history had been lost or romanticized, and there was still so much more to uncover. Through my investigations and conversations with family and friends, I learned more about my family's legacy before arriving to Minnesota. Really, their journey to St. Paul is a part of a larger voyage of the Great Migration, which many Black Americans share. It's within exploring that curiosity I traveled to Birmingham, Alabama, to more deeply connect with the land, the heritage, the history, and the culture from which our ancestors came. While I journey into my own healing, I hope to empower other African Americans to connect with the light and dark of our past. As Black people in America, our history is complicated, oftentimes not affording us the privilege to preserve it or even recall it. But through this journey, I am reminded of the words of Maya Angelou. I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. Through grounding myself in the presence of the past, I feel their endurance and strength within me, encouraging me to open doors they couldn't and to connect to their power so future generations can hold tight to a heritage and history that American society has tried to take away from us. I'm not sure all I might uncover on this journey, or if I'll ever think about home the same way again. But two things are for sure. There are Black people in Minnesota, and we are healing.
Twin Cities, welcome back to the CW. You are watching Natalie, and I'm with the big homie, Anthony Gardner, I should say my favorite local reporter of the Twin Cities. Right. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. I know you got your little sign. Hey, clink, clink. Yes, if you are at home and you are renting, you have other opportunities for you. There can be a way. We can make a way out of no way. And that's why I'm happy Brian Parker is in the building. He's going to talk about home ownership, how you can level up. And I was so surprised to learn, Anthony, that Minnesota has the widest, largest disparity between white homeowners and Black homeowners in the entire United States. We've got the man to help. That is Mr. Brian Parker. He is in the building. What's up? What's up?
That's great. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, it's so nice to meet you. We got to thank Anthony because he is the one booking all of our local talent, our local guests.
Well, like you said, Natalie, Brian's been in the real estate business for over 30 years. But, my question, and the viewers probably want to know, how did you get into the real estate business?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to want to be an architect. So I've always had kind of a like for structures and things like that. And then, I wanted to be in business for myself. And this is one of the things. And then also I remember watching my dad kind of negotiate some deals. And I thought, I want to be part of that game, So about the time I should have graduated from college is when I got my real estate license.
You said back when you started 30 years ago, there were only a handful of Black realtors in the Twin Cities. But today you're saying it's a new ball game. Talk a little bit about that.
It's a very new ball game. Actually, there was maybe a couple of handful of us back then. And so there was a lot of guys and women that I looked up to that were in the business, have been at it a while. Folks like Bill Aiken, the Godfather. Now there's like a good amount of us, I'll say. And I'm proud to see it. And I'm happy for those young folks that are at this now and excitement to do this. So I'm here for them too.
Talk about the growth of Black realtors over the last 30 years and the impact that it's had on Minnesota.
In 30 years, I believe there's been a number of incentives and a number of programs and movements where we've, wanted to help more of us, more people of color obtain home ownership. And with the collection of more and more Black people involved in real estate, it's helped.
Yeah.
It's helped the industry, keep that gap. I mean, we're trying to close it, but we got lots of work to do.
I'm just surprised that Minnesota has the widest gap in all of the country. I'm in Texas here, but I had no idea that it was that bad. 2 questions. Why do you think that is? And what can we do? Because I know that you are setting the path for people to really transition. So if you're renting out there, please, let's take some notes. Let's level up. What are the first things we need to do?
Well, first of all, everyone is thinking we got to dispel some of the myths.
Right.
Some of the myths are we need 20% down, this exuberant amount of money down. You got to have perfect credit and all that kind of thing. Now is always the best time. I keep getting that question all the time. When's a good time to buy? When's a good time? Now is always a good time to buy. Things change at any given moment, and it could throw a curve here and there. But if we're preparing ourselves, you'll be all right. We'll get you in there. If people would give us a call, just call me. Like it says on my slogan, if you don't call me, I can't help you. Call, and I can help get you on the path of that. If you're not ready now, let's figure out now what needs to be done. Let's set that roadmap and get you on that path so that whether it's a 3-month wait or a 6-month wait, it starts now.
That does. That's good. So good. Come on, folks. We got what it takes. And I love that you called those myths because a lot of people run off what they think they know, don't have no facts. You got to call the professionals. So
Right on. Because I trusted you back in 1997 when you helped me purchase my first house.
Oh, I didn't know that, Anthony.
Yep,
Yes.
And
our
I
second
think
house.
our second house and our third house and our fourth house.
Okay, so now you showing out. Now you just showing out, Anthony.
What other advice do you have for potential home buyers and our viewers that inability to really want to take that step forward to get their own property?
I have clients now that are actually in the process of buying, and they have what you call that buyer remorse, and you catch a little cold feet. People, it's a real psychological issue sometimes with folks as far as home ownership. 30 years, I'm gonna be stuck and yada yada.
Yeah.
No matter what, you gotta pay for wherever you're gonna live. However, home ownership is where the wealth begins.
That's right.
And the generational wealth has become, the major part of that comes from real estate. And when you own, you understand that you have other kind of rights in the world, per se. When there's projects and developments coming up in your community, in your neighborhood, you're going to get the notices as homeowners that these things are happening. Renters don't get that information. So they don't really have the say-so. So this goes back to the beginning of time. If you don't own land, you really don't have any say-so. You couldn't vote either at that way back when.
Preach.
So, when you have home ownership, you now have some say-so, you have some power, you have something, you have wealth. So home ownership is definitely, there's so many different freedoms that open up for you as a homeowner than when you're renting. And you're never stuck with real estate.
debunk those myths that you can't make it happen for yourself and your family, because you can. And there are people out there ready to support you, ready to take you under their wing, and ready to take you to the next level. So, Brian, where can people find you? How can they work with you? I know folks are ready to call you. How do they reach you?
I can be reached by phone, of course, 651-300-9044. Email address, brian.parker@cbrealty.com. Facebook page, my business Facebook page, the Parker House Group. I have an IG page as well. It's explaining right
Listen,
now.
it's no excuses, people. It's no excuses. Brian Parker, Parker House Group. Get it right. Set the hashtag. Tell a friend to tell a friend. You said it. You hit it on the head. The home that was $250 a year ago and it's $350 right now. And Rel to the Rel just talked about 1960s. Brian, God bless you. I hope we see more of you, Brian.
Yes, Brian.
Yes,
you will.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, you guys. I really appreciate this. Thanks, Natalie.
Sure.
Thanks, Natalie.
Welcome back, Twin Cities. You are watching Natalie right here on the CW. And I'm excited for this next conversation because we're going to get into some things. Okay, so make sure, yes, it is happy hour. Cha-ching. Cheers to you. And our next guest, it's interesting. She's going to break it down. I was so intrigued by this topic. We're going to talk with confidence and wealth coach. She is helping female solopreneurs enjoy their success, get their freedom back in their lives. Anybody looking for some more freedom? Tierra Wommack. Yes, Tierra, she is in the building. She is going to level us. And, you know, I can't even imagine really when you break down what a narcissist is, what they do, what it looks like being around one. Can you define what this type of energy or person might look like?
Absolutely. So here's the thing. When it comes to narcissistic personality disorder, it is a spectrum personality disorder, okay, one of the cluster B. And you may have someone that is displaying typical, what we think of narcissistic behavior, more on the end of like a malignant or a toxic narcissist. So they have the inflated ego. They are always putting others down. Maybe they have that sense of lack of empathy. It's a very complex disorder, and it can be very clinical, which is why I put together my ebook, The 7-Point Guide to Recognizing the Narcissist. What does it look like in real world scenarios? Because for myself, for instance, and some of the women I've worked with, it can look like that person that's always messing up the social gatherings, that finds a way to mess up the birthday parties and the special events, or that employer or employee that always is putting you down in front of others. So, you know, that's kind of where the NPD spectrum falls, but it can be a very hard personality disorder to diagnose.
You shared with me why you got into this. You were in a narcissistic relationship of your own. And at some point, you know, you realized what it was, or you learned what it was. Talk a little bit about how this all kicked off in your own life. Yes.
So for me, my story was that I thought this type of personality, this type of behavior came along with the lifestyle of dealing with high net worth men, which I was completely wrong, right? But I thought, you know what, a little bit of the crazies, a little bit of the manipulation, this is all just a part of the gambit. You know, what I'm seeing behind closed doors, all of the various tactics and things of that nature is more than just my mental and me kind of messing with myself. So that's how I started along my own journey dealing with and rediscovering myself after NPD.
right? You have a company of your own that you've created. And ladies, if you're brave out there, if you want to get brave, you need to connect with the Brave Way. Talk about what you've built, what you've designed, and how you're helping solopreneurs out there really become more of themselves and taking their own power back.
Once I started putting myself out there as having dealt with this disorder, these are all high-powered women. I'm talking about Fortune 500, executive level, out there, pillars in the community who were feeling shame around the fact that they had been in these narcissistic relationships. But now what?
Right.
Now what do we do? Because we can't just sit and wallow. We have to rebuild. If we have to rebuild anyway, let's reach for that level that scares us, because that's something that we need to do for ourselves to get back to ourselves. Yeah. My good friend always says that narcs do not break into poorhouses, they break into mansions. But so many times, right? It's important for me to let women know, and men are also affected by this disorder, but I work with women to let these women know that although you feel so far removed from where you were, feeling good about yourself, doing the things that you enjoy in life, when you get back to your true essence and you take your power back, then you truly become unstoppable.
What do you do? What advice do you have for the women out there that are finding themselves with a narcissist? Now what? Do you keep the relationship? Do you try to fix the relationship, or do you just say to hell with the relationship?
You have to be ready to deal with, what it looks like as far as rebuilding and leaving. And that's what kept me in my relationships for so long, was that fear of getting out there on my own. So if you can distance yourself from that narcissist, do that. However, sometimes we can't. If it's family, or you have kids with a certain individual, then what I recommend is start to recognize that behavior. But once you can become aware of that behavior and change your reactions, then you diminish the supply that narcissists use to feed their ego. So then therefore you can take that control, you can start to take your life back, even if you still have to interact with that individual. Listen to your gut, listen to your intuition, move on, because it is a rabbit hole like none other that you have ever dealt with before, if you go down that path.
Tierra, I'm so grateful. I know your ebook is going to help so many women. Where can they find you and keep up with you, Tierra?
Yeah, so you can find me at www.thebravewaytribe.com, also on social at The Brave Way. And then the ebook is the 7-point guide to recognizing your narcissist, take your life and identity back, and that can be found on Amazon.
Wow, your life and your identity back. Ladies, if you're ready to rebuild your life, Tierra's the one. Tierra is the one. Thank you for being with us today. CW Twin Cities, we're going to take a quick break and be right back. All right, y'all. Wow. That's all I can say. Is anybody at home like, wow? Wow. Well, guess what? The magic will continue. I hope you enjoyed today's show. I hope you're inspired. I hope you woke now. You probably sat all the way up. It's almost 11, but guess what? We ready. And I'm just wishing all of you the best week ahead. Tomorrow is Sunday. Get up, get cute, praise the Lord, and join me right back here next week for another edition of Natalie. I'll see you then.